Welcome. This is episode 1 of Dyads. I'm your host, Ramsey Jamal Shelaby. Our guest today is Noah Cicero, American author and philosopher. His new book out is called Blood-Soaked Buddha, Carter, Pascal. And we're going to talk about it. We're going to have a dyad about it. Stay tuned. I start out the conversation with some discussion about the Tibetan Book of the Dead. And from there we go in a lot of different directions. A lot of talk about society, life in general, attitudes to life, all that kind of stuff. Hope you enjoy. Do not be afraid. All right, this is from the Tibetan Book of the Dead, and I don't know. You can bounce off this. This is from. Do you remember the? You remember the book, right? Sorry. Okay, yeah. This is from like the.
Yeah, I've read this same book. I've read it. Yeah.
All right, so I just kind of opened it randomly, and it's on the 8th day. It's in the part of the book, The Great Liberation by Hearing. And, on the 8th day, you've passed through a bunch of, places and had, peaceful experiences, but now, this really wrathful deity comes to, terrify you. And he's got, all these things to terrify you. And, the advice here is do not be afraid, do not be terrified, and do not be awed. Recognize this to be the Buddha body of your intrinsic awareness. These are your own meditational deities, so do not be terrified. This, in reality, is the transcendent Lord Vairocana and his consort, so do not be afraid. Recognition and liberation will occur simultaneously.
Yeah, I like that.
I like that too.
It's really, we have this thing, there's this thing in Tibetan Buddhism where Marpa meets Naropa, and Naropa makes him eat a dead body and stuff, and there's this thing where you I guess you have to put dog poop in your mouth to show that you're enlightened. These are all things I've heard and read. I've never seen these things in person. There's even a thing where there's these random Buddhist stories about people after a person they've said they have enlightenment. They think they have enlightenment. They'll get a prostitute or something, and they'll see if they can have sex with the prostitute without having emotions.
Mm-hmm.
If they can, they without even having desire. They just do it, and so they purely have sex. And there's this thing where, can you stare at this horrible thing and not be in awe? Can you look at this horrible thing and be oh, this is just existence. This is exactly existence. This isn't good or bad. This is exactly what's happening. Or to say the phrase I know I have this one friend. He meditates every day and he's really weird. And horrible things will happen to him. And this is happening. This is what's happening now. That's all he does.
Oh.
So could you stare at like some horrible thing and be like, oh, this is just happening?
Yeah.
And that's all.
Does
that make sense? Is that how you see it?
Yeah, totally. What it makes me think of is like, have you had dreams where like you basically almost die in the dream?
I don't know, maybe. I don't really remember my dreams, I'm sorry.
Okay. Well, I've had dreams where like, I'm like, I fell off a cliff or something and I'm like falling towards the ground and there's like this whole recognition like, okay, oh shit, this is it. Yeah. Death is here now. It's immediately, and like the acceptance of it, like the last line, recognition and liberation occur simultaneously, because it's kind of like what I've learned from those experiences in the dreams of being kind of like on the brink, like, oh shit, you're gonna die now, it's over, is that in that moment, like, you accept it like pretty easily. It's like, it's a pretty goddamn, I don't know the way to say it, but like you're like, okay, or does that make sense?
Yeah, because you recognize it.
You're just like, yeah. There's the fear's
not.
Recognize
it for what it is.
Yeah.
For what it is. Like when you're dealing with a really toxic person, and that person's being horrible, you just kind of recognize that they have some kind of identity issue. They have their own issues, and they're just using you as a scapegoat or just some kind of thing they push around. And I guess that when you recognize that, it lessens the agony of having to deal with it.
Yeah. Yeah, one thing I was like, I've been like thinking about, because we were going to talk about your book, Blood-Soaked Buddha, Hard Earth Pascal, is that there's kind of nothing to say, you know? It sort of starts off.
What do you mean there's nothing to say?
Well, when it really gets down to it, like, talk is just going to be talk. And, man, I don't know, I'm getting lost in my own head. But like you kind of started off just like, this is for no reason. This is just to exercise because I like Buddhism books and they make me feel good. And you made a really good Buddhism book that like can make people feel good.
Well, there's this point in the book where I talk about when Lin Chi says do nothing. Do you remember the do nothing part?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, so in Lin Chi, he's always like, you have to learn to do nothing. And the thing is what does it mean to do something? It means you're entering into a situation and you are putting yourself onto it. You're this is who I am, this is how you should see me, this is why I'm here. Uh-huh. And you're doing something there. You're always going around worried about how people see you and how you see things, and you, when you do that, you're always doing something. But like, you don't have to. It's not a necessity to think like that.
Right. You don't have
to go to the grocery store or go to work the whole time you're at work.
Right. You don't. You don't have to do anything.
You're at work and you don't have to do anything. You can be at work and you can, like, I go to work and like I can physically accomplish everything. And my brain can accomplish all kinds of shit at work. And I can just do it, but I don't have to think like the whole time like, oh, I need to get paid this much, or my boss needs to see me like this, or I need to do this or that. I just do it. I don't ask any questions about it. And then sometimes at work it's like, man, this stuff's really hard. And then I just think about it and I just have fun because I'm not actually doing anything at work. I'm like doing nothing, but I'm at work. So I can have lots of fun because I'm alive the whole time at work. I'm alive the whole time I'm in the car on the way there. I'm alive in the shower in the morning. I'm alive when I wash the dishes. I am alive the entire time I'm alive. like it's so weird, but like we get raised by these baby boomers. I was raised by a baby boomer. And it was almost like you died when you went to work. Or you entered an alternate reality of absolute suffering.
Yeah.
And you were just like, they would come home and they would just grumble, grouchy, moody. Oh, I wanted to go to work today. And it's like, you were alive the whole time you were there, man. There's nothing wrong with going to work. Like, it doesn't matter what kind of society. If you were a communist society, you'd fucking have to probably go to work. If you lived in a utopia, you'd have to do something. It's like, I live in an alternate reality when I go to work where I'm somehow suffering immensely. Yeah. Were your parents like that?
My dad has some of that mental attitude of just kind of like deal with the suffering, or just he wakes up every day at 5 a.m. and goes to the gym, and he even has like a broken back right now. He has to like get surgery, and he still like does that shit. He still like works really hard all the time. Like he's like one of the.
Does he complain about it?
No. Not really. No, he's got a good attitude.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it is that same sort of thing, and they try to implant that in you, that your life has to be like a hard, suffering thing, and to deal with it.
Yeah.
It's that same blueprint they're trying to give you.
Yeah, they want you to just go to work and suffer when you get home. Like, they're really happy about their own suffering. It's like really joyful to them. But we have like so much food now. We have so much internal machines that we have machines that fix the temperature all the time. So we're fine most of the time. we have like a paradise, even if you're mildly poor. If you can get a machine that fixes the temperature in your house, and there's an abundance of food, and really, like, if you gave that to you took a time machine and you went back like 300 years and you said, look, dude, I have a button that changes the temperature in your house to whatever you want it to be, and I have an endless supply of food, they would fucking shit themselves. They would have like rituals and claim you were a god. I know that sounds but like, you can work off that. You're not, I don't know, I don't feel like I'm suffering that bad, and I'm totally poor. Like, I'm totally statistically poor.
Yeah.
I don't know, is that bad? Should I not say that? Or like, should I be a communist or something? And like, just, I don't know how I should feel. Is it...
however you feel is fine. Like, I think we put weight.
Yeah, that's how I feel.
Yeah, we put weight, like, we put so much weight on ourselves by not letting ourselves feel something honestly, and then putting another weight on top of it by like feeling bad, like, about feeling that way.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. But then and we like, as soon as we get something, we want the next best thing. Like, I need this, and then I need this, and I need this. When really, like, you could start with like, oh my god, I have air conditioning. Oh my god, I have all this food, and then like work your way around. Like, start from there. We forget where we start from and stuff. Like, someone asked me yesterday in an interview for something. Don't you wish you could get a book on Random House or something? And I was just like,
why? Yeah.
Dude, I grew up in I grew up in a town like with one red light, and like I didn't go to a fancy college, and I only spent like maybe like 5 to 8 hours in relationship to writing a week. Like, I'm not concerned. These are my expectations. And I was like, I've never thought about it like that. Like, and they were kind of like shocked or something. Like, why wouldn't you want that? Yeah. I remember this one time I was talking to this Navajo woman. She was older. She was like 72. And I was at the Grand Canyon, and she told me, like, the Nobel Prize is yours. The Super Bowl is yours. It's not ours. It's like, that's kind of how I think about it. Like, it's not, you can live on the planet and not have to be concerned deeply with these apex arbitrary goals.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah, like have you read
yeah.
have you read Lame Deer, Secret Visions?
No, I don't know what is that?
It's a book by a Native American guy. Um, working with his name was Lame Deer, and he
yeah.
he what you're saying is like it's that Native American kind of perspective. Is like it's their game. It's not our game. Our game is already set. Like they have, like he called money. He was like, oh, these white people, like they just trade green frog skins back and forth. Like that's what they do. Like that's how disconnected they are from the game. It's like they trade green frog skins.
Yeah, yeah, and it's completely fine to live on the planet and never want a Tesla or never want want to a giant house. It's like, and that's like, I mean, and the thing is, it's like it is more revolutionary, like a witch they would burn. You can be transgendered on TV. My friend, he's transgendered, but he reads all these things like Heidegger and all these things. And he was like, "Yeah, I feel like I'm revolutionary because I'm transgendered." And I was like, "No." I'm just like,
he said that.
If you went on TV and said, and he said that's kind of like rebellious. And I said, "Dude, you read Heidegger and all these books. You read all these things." I said, if you went on TV and said to everyone, "You know what? You don't have to want a big house. You can live your whole life and it's fine." They would light you on fire. They would take you. You would never be on the television saying that. You could be on the television with your face covered in purple paint, and a fucking stick in your ass, saying the fuck word, and somehow like they would just let it go. But if you went on there and you said, "Man, you could live your whole life and you don't have to want to have a lot of things. Do it. Like you just don't. I give you permission. I absolve you of all your capitalist sins." And you can just hug your kid and go fishing. You would be done. You would be done. Your life would be over. You would never be on TV with that. You wouldn't even make it to a screen. To get to the screen, you have to believe that what binds Americans together is their want to be rich. So that's the only way you'll ever make it to a screen, or you'll make it to Random House, is that you have to believe that it is not the agony of human existence that brings us together, or the pain, or the grief, or dancing, or music. You have to believe that every single American truly wants to be rich. And after you accept that as the fundamental human nature of everyone that lives in America, and then you completely arrange your mental matrix around that binding fundamental nature, then you will be able to create art and say things that will let you onto the TV. I
don't know. Is that how you think it is?
When I turn on the TV, yeah, I think that's how it is, man. I think that's how people, they want you to think that on the TV. They want you to think that everyone should just want to be. Everyone is binded together in their love of possibly being rich.
Yeah, that's definitely there. But don't some people like get there without like even thinking about it?
You mean what?
Some people like get there because just life circumstances are different for everybody, and it's like if you're a fish in a stream.
What's there?
What?
Wait, what's there?
What do you mean?
Wait, what do you see? You say get there. What's there though?
The screen. You're talking about the screen, right?
Oh, the screen. Yeah.
Okay. Did we switch to something else?
Okay. No. I just didn't know what that there was referencing.
Okay. Yeah, that like the screen. Like people get there to the screen through a variety of ways. It seems like just because life is very random.
I don't know. I think would be like just on their subconscious level. Like they had already accepted it as a child. I don't think they consciously accept it. Does that make sense? They don't consciously accept or not accept. It's just like they grow up and everyone is talking like, this is what life is like. This is what the world is. And they just they subconsciously agree to it. Subconsciously.
Okay. Yeah, I think I understand now. Yeah, everybody kind of, there's this programming we all kind of go through, and it's like set. Like there's not a person conducting it. It's like it's running on autopilot.
No one remembers when they learn the word chair.
Right.
But everyone who knows English agrees, when they're looking at a chair, this four-legged sitting thing, well, that's a chair. But nobody remembers agreeing on it. No one went to, you didn't sign something where you stipulated, like, yes, I will call this a chair, and I will call this a shoe, and I will call this a shirt. You don't remember it. You have no memory of these things. But I can name every object in my bedroom, and I don't remember ever learning any of these objects. I mean, lately I've been learning a lot of medical words at work. So I can tell you when I learned the word thoracic, and I can tell you when I learned the word cervical or something.
Right.
So, because I learned that as an adult.
Yeah.
But as children, when you're before the age of 5, you're going to learn T-shirt, you're going to learn clothing hamper, chair, phone, guitar. You'll learn all these words without no one asking you to agree. So what? Before the age of 5 or 6, you've already subconsciously internalized that you agree that the fundamental nature of an American is they want to be rich. The same way you would agree.
Fundamental?
That's the fundamental nature.
Is that
like the way a plant grows or something?
Yeah, that's true. No, sorry, I interrupted you. Did I cut you off?
It's okay. No, it's okay.
Okay.
I was drinking some coffee.
I think it just finally clicked. For a second there, I was having a hard time understanding, but I think I know what you're talking about now.
Yeah, like in the book I talk about it, nature, which is kind of like this thing Greeks would talk about, where what is natural? Like you look at a plant and you're like, what is the natural thing of this plant? How does it grow? What is the natural thing of life of a bunny rabbit? What is the natural? But then they would go further and they would talk about the natural use of a fork. And then what is the perfect fork? The virtuous fork or the virtuous bowl. What is the perfect bowl? What is the perfect vase? What is the virtue of it? What is the excellence? Excellence. That was what my professor said. You could say excellence. Huh. So nature in Buddhism is always really important because, and what I try to do with the book is that to view yourself as nature. Because to think about it like this, like I am bipolar, right? So the first step of kind of viewing yourself as nature, to look at yourself as, a tree or a plant or something. You're natural, you're organic. You are the product of thousands of people fucking for 100,000 years. And that you are not like a microwave. We have this thing, man, where we think we're like a microwave. We think we're like a car where we can turn things off and turn things back on, which is cognitive behavioral therapy, which is a huge failure of technological society. It's when people thought they were technology. But what Marx and materialism? It's a rejection of your own organic being. Marx is a rejection of your organic being. Cognitive behavioral therapy is a rejection of your organic being. They are not respecting that you are the product of thousands of people fucking, and that you are a DNA structure. And it is a disrespect of the organism. And so my thing is that you should view yourself as a natural organism, where I am bipolar. I have the bipolar genetics. It can be easily proven through documentation, but I can prove it in myself. I can see it in myself, where my fight or flight is abnormally strong compared to the average person. When I feel like I am in going to fight or flight mode, my whole body will just tighten up. It will go taut. It will. Spiders are crawling under my skin. And what I was trained to do was to fight it by cheering myself up or going out or doing these spying things. And if I just did these certain activities, then I would cheer myself up and it would end. But that's like viewing it like a car or a microwave, that you could fix yourself. What you have to do is say, okay, this is how my physical body works, and react appropriately to your physical body. And so you're like fight or flight. What do I need to do? I need to lay down. I need to watch cartoons. I need to just sit here. I need to do absolutely physically nothing. And then the feeling will go away. I need to not. And we get trained so good to fight all of our natural body feelings. Because there's this standard of normalcy that you're supposed to always fucking be behaving, and you're supposed to feel like. Because you're supposed to feel happy if you're an American in the 21st century, because everything is life-affirming, and everything is meaningful and purposeful, and you can just have the power. Like, these are such fucking banal platitudes. They will not help you. They will not help you do anything. And I'm not even saying right now that I will lay down and relax to make my fight or flight response drift away, to dissipate. I'm not saying it to make myself a better person, or to make more money, or to do anything good for anyone else. I try to do the appropriate response to just let it go, to just let it happen naturally. I'm not doing nothing in that book should help you make money, and I would feel terrible if it did. I don't want any. I want you to look and what you're feeling, to examine, like, I am having a bad feeling. I am having a good feeling. My skin feels really taut. It's like because your whole body responds to everything. Does that make sense? What is that? Yeah.
No, I'm following you completely. I know what you're talking. Yeah, I like that. I like what you're trying to do, or what you're trying to give people, because that, I think, is the best way. But I mean, it's like you, the views, the 4 views you go through.
Oh yeah, okay.
Like the spiritual view, that one's like the shortest one to go through, because it's the simplest, and like it's the one that brings you into the moment. You know what I mean? You're talking about breathing.
About breathing and relaxing. Because when you kind of, you don't even. It isn't about like the now. It's like before I even started this interview, I was texting someone trying to organize a reading, because someone dropped out of the reading. I had to reorganize everything.
Mm-hmm.
And my mind was doing that. So my mind's like going through all this stuff, and I was at work. We were super busy today. But we're super busy mostly every day. And I smoked, and I was like, okay, no, you have to stop thinking about that thing. You have to stop thinking about it. You need to just sit here for a second. And I just sat there for like 2 minutes. Just relax, and then and I go through my face, I go through my arms and my legs, and then try to find everything that's tense. You know what I mean? Because sometimes my cheeks will be tense.
Yeah, right.
and you'll squeeze your butt cheeks together for hours. If you're tense, you'll squeeze your legs together, and you have to like let all these body parts like go back to normal. You have to tell your body. So that's the thing, man. Western culture's like it's in your head. It's in your head. Like what the fuck is in your head? Like your whole body is you. Like it doesn't make any sense to like divide your body up into parts.
Right.
Because your whole body is like a data machine. Your whole body, you have 5 senses. You know, you have in Buddhism you have 6 senses. You ever hear this? So this is how it works.
Okay.
So in Buddhism, what they would say, I don't know what if you would just walk up to some random Buddhist, but I mean me. So
yeah, right.
So you have 5 senses, and you have hearing and taste and smell, and you have this huge epidermis.
Uh-huh.
And what it does is it takes in all the data around you. It's taking massive amounts of data in from everything around you. And your 6th sense, according to Buddhists, would be like your mind is your 6th sense, and it takes all of the data that it's taking in and then makes something out of it. But like your body is a huge. It's not a machine. It is this organism that takes in all this data all the time, and you have to relax it and like let it not take in so much data for a second.
Yeah, completely. You have to let it settle
like
down.
You have to let it settle down. Because all day long, your body, all of your skin and all of your ears and your eyes, it is taking in a massive amount of information. And so you have to let all that relax and like let it not take in all that information. And just let it sit there for a little bit, not responding constantly to everything. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say.
Absolutely, I'm 100% with you. That's what I've learned from meditating and from learning what the actual benefits are and what it actually kind of is supposed to be for you. People kind of use it, or it gets colored in all these ways by society, and when it comes down to it, it's just sitting down and observing your body sensations or your breath, or just like letting yourself settle down for a fucking minute and letting your brain process all this shit that you've been like that you're dealing with, whether you like it or not, or whether you know it or not, whether you're aware of it or not.
You don't even know you're dealing with things like
this. Exactly.
Your body is extremely busy. It's an extremely busy thing. Your mind's extremely busy taking all this data in, taking in all this information. But you don't have to be like that all the time. You don't have to do it.
Exactly, and that's.
I mean, it's funny. It's like
good to let people know that.
We're so I think
we all have to like constantly remind ourselves over and over again, because it's like life and society is this constant distraction to keep you away from doing that. It seems to me.
Yeah, they want to keep you busy. They want to keep you kind of mentally ill.
They don't want to. Yeah, they don't want to give you a chance to do it.
They want you to be feeling like you need to protect your identity all the time, yourself. You just have to get these things, and these things will help you protect yourself from an imaginary monster that's coming to get you. And you need to be really busy because this monster's coming all the time. All the time the monster's coming.
Right. Like, and you got to think about these things. Like, you got to pay your taxes. You got to pay your rent. You got to do all this stuff. And like, just to keep you like tied up.
You gotta have to have this haircut. And you have to wear this makeup. You have to do this. You have to do the whole thing all the time.
Right.
You have to have this car.
But we don't. But we don't have to, really.
What do you mean?
Well, we don't have to.
You
like,
have to pay.
Yeah, we let ourselves settle down, and we can like see through that bullshit, right?
Yeah, but there's things that, like me. I have these things that I pay for. They're called fate payments. I call them in my head.
Yeah.
Where like gas is a fate payment. Taxes is a fate payment. You know, car payment is a fate payment. Like
Yeah.
Car insurance is a fate payment. Like these things, like don't even fucking look at that bill. Like it doesn't matter. You have to pay it. Fucking pay the bill.
No matter what.
Just fucking, you have to pay it. I'm sorry. Like guys with guns will come for you.
If you want to move on with your life. Yeah.
Yeah. Like that's the story, man. Like you have to pay for gas to go to work. Like you can't. Don't even look at the bill. Like I don't look. I don't even check my bank account, to be honest. Like I don't even look at what it says. And it will tell me if someone's stolen all the money. You know, if it goes up to 300, I get a text. And like I don't look at I don't take receipts out. I don't do anything. I never look at how much is in the bank. Except for like sometimes I have to pay my credit card bill, which is another bullshit thing. I owe so much money on my credit card because my car sucks so much, and I have to do it. I had to pay for the car to be fixed. I had to do the whole thing. I can't. I have to just accept it.
Yeah.
But there are probably people who stress out constantly about every little bill. My mother was like that. My mother would buy expensive shit, and then she'd buy the cheapest toilet paper at the grocery store. Toilet paper that would basically rip your asshole. Yeah. It was like a fucking. It was like a hawk attacked your asshole every time you wiped it. But then she'd come home with some expensive shit, man. Because in her mind, like, she thought if she could save on toilet paper, she could buy other expensive things.
Yeah.
So in her mind, a lot of this book comes from, like, just seeing the worst people. And, like, probably the people who buy this book are not those people. But me, in my head, my subconscious pivot point is these kind of terrible people that I grew up with. And I know that, like, none of them will probably read the book. And unless it got, like, Oprah level famous, which it won't. So probably people that are medium level okay already are going to read it. And, man, I'm thinking about people who would buy shitty toilet paper. Or, like, they would buy an expensive car, but then, like, anything else. And just, like, be cheap in other ways. And, like, sit around in their house and talk about money all day. Like, I don't know why I'm telling this story, but, like, I grew up with my parents and my parents' neighbors in Ohio with the baby boomers. There is this thing, I don't know where they got it from, movies or somewhere, where the parents thought that the children should learn golf because then they could grow up to talk to businessmen.
Uh-huh.
And
yeah, they'd be like in the
parties and like yeah, there was this thing, man. And my brothers learned to golf, because they wanted to make my parents happy. And they would just talk about money all the time and how, you know, and just turn everything into money. And I have grown up in the writing world and just like today at work to have dinner with people and lunch with people who have, you know, graduate degrees and doctorate degrees, and I didn't do any golf. I don't really play golf. But like in my head, like the book has this, like, it pivots around that level of annoying. I don't know if I didn't explain that in the book though.
Well, you don't have to. You don't have to explain that really, but I that's cool. I know what you mean. You're like, yeah, pivot point is maybe like that might be hard for some people to understand what that means, but yeah, like you're writing for their fucked up heads, to fix their fucked up heads, kind of.
Yeah, but they won't. I don't think they'll ever read it. But I just, like, it made me feel horrible. It makes me feel horrible being around that kind of person.
Uh-huh.
And you just, it's like the Trump. It's probably the Trump voter, really, the middle of the lower class Trump voter. That really angers me, because it's not a Republican that voted for Trump in Ohio. It's a certain type of character that believes in these certain values about wealth and about just like racism and complaining. And they were all racist too. They were all racist. I'd just be sitting there with my mother on a Saturday, and she'd just be like, you know, I only want you to marry a white girl or a Jew. because those are the only ones that have money. And I mean, like, what the fuck is that, Mom? Like, I don't talk to my parents, and I don't speak to them at all. But so, because they're toxic people. But like, that's how you think. Like, that's how the Trump voter thinks. Is like, man, this is how the world works. Is like the whites and the Jews, and the yacht and the boat and the big house in this neighborhood, and like something about golf and tennis and a staircase. I don't know what the fuck else. Like it's like a bunch of like but it's so nonsensical because they don't have any money. They're not rich, and they don't have any skills to get rich. And then like I've met rich people, and they don't even give a shit about those things at all. And it's like I work at a fucking law firm, and none of them play golf. Like, what a failure of trying to raise me,
Teaching you how the world works.
Play golf.
Yeah.
This is how the world works.
What the fuck? It doesn't even matter.
It doesn't even matter. They raised me so badly. Yeah. Okay. Give me another question here. I'm so excited. I'm getting ready.
All right.
This coffee's got me ready to go.
What if what's your shitty attitude that you're done living with for the rest of eternity?
Oh my god, that's on the back of the book, right?
Yeah. It's a great quote.
There's this, it is a quote. You like it? It's okay.
Dude, that's great. And yeah. What if you had to live for anybody listening? Yeah. What if you had to live for eternity with your current shitty attitude? That's great.
Okay, so when I was like 10 or something, right? My parents would randomly bring me to church. And I would be at church and they would talk about heaven. So I would hear this thing about heaven, right? And I was thinking, well, what do you do in heaven? So I asked somebody, some old baby boomer.
Okay.
Their baby boomer was like 40 then, so I was like, what would you be doing there?
Yeah, what's up?
What would be happening?
Yeah.
And he said, well, you would be singing the praises of the Lord. And I'm like, singing the praises of the Lord. So this is like a song. Like, yeah, it's like a song. And I was like, so there's a, and I'm standing there in the church, and I'm like, well, all these songs have verses and choruses. And they have like a refrain.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, what if you enjoyed, something's wrong with me. Like, something must be mentally wrong with me, because I never asked really if there was God or not.
Right.
It didn't matter. And I was like, well, what if you liked the chorus more than you liked the verse?
Yeah, because that happens. Sometimes you're like, you wait for this chorus of the song. You don't really like the beginning, but you like that part. And so, yeah, go on.
What if? I say, well, if you liked the chorus, singing the chorus more than the verse, you couldn't be in heaven. And like, this was not a good question for me.
They wouldn't get it.
Nobody's gonna get this question.
Well, because like, yeah, it's a ridiculous premise in the first place, kind of, because they're like, heaven is a place where you go and you just sing forever to God. You just keep singing.
Yeah, you sing forever.
But then, like, their whole like.
And I'm sort of.
No, go on. Yeah.
See, like, I'm not like, I wasn't being like a George Carlin atheist. Like, nothing George Carlin like was happening at this moment. I wasn't like talking about the Spanish Inquisition or something. I had a completely different mental state.
Yeah, you were a kid.
Completely innocent.
Yeah.
I was just, what if you just like that part more than that part?
Okay, so what happened? Yeah, what happened when you asked that?
So I grew up, and these thoughts, I had to really keep them to myself, because there wasn't one person in that town that would have ever listened to this kind of speech that could come out of my mouth. Basically, I was full of thoughts that I couldn't say to anyone.
Yeah.
Wow, maybe that was... So I was full of thoughts I couldn't say to anyone. And I was about 20 years old, and this kid I was 21 years old, and I used to hang out at Denny's, and there was this kid named Matt Gilboy. And Matt Gilboy he was a philosophy major, and he would hang out at Denny's. This was before cell phones and computers. When there was computers, but they sucked. So in the year 2001, computers were lame.
Yeah.
It was something you kind of did for like...
You went on AOL. Yeah.
You went on AOL, that was it. So we're sitting at Denny's, and we don't have cell phones, so we're just sitting there. Because you had to go to Denny's to see someone. And then you could make plans at Denny's to do something after.
Yeah.
That's how you lived.
Yeah.
When you were young.
That was life before cell phones.
So we're sitting at the Denny's, and he says, he's reading Wittgenstein, and I had a philosophy class with him. He was so annoying in the class. And I said, well, what's that book? He goes, here's Wittgenstein. So I read it. And he borrowed my copy of On the Road. And he's an asshole for doing that. I'm on like my fourth copy of On the Road, probably. These get stolen or lost. And then, so I'm reading the Wittgenstein, and Wittgenstein's like, well, eternity in heaven would never have, what did he say, the desired effect.
Is he basically saying, like, you couldn't have good forever because it wouldn't have bad to balance it out? Or was he saying something like that?
I think he was just saying that the idea that anyone could be happy forever or something would be... I mean, what is that? It was just... It's an odd thing that... It's an odd...
It loses its meaning.
Wouldn't have the desired effect.
It loses all meaning.
Like, name one thing you've ever gotten that made you happy for the rest of your life.
Right.
I mean, I have had amazing sex, and I'm thinking of them right now. And I could probably like tell you about, my top 5 sexual experiences. I can tell you about every time I went to the bottom of the Grand Canyon. I can tell you every time I went to Zion, or I went to South America, or I went over there, or I just got the best hug. I haven't seen someone in a long time, and I finally get to see them and we hug. I can tell you all those things. Did they make me happy forever?
Right. No.
No. So what? And there's all this stuff on the planet Earth. There's fucking millions of trees and bugs and people and coffee and the most perfect cupcake you could imagine someone could make it. Did any of them ever make me happy forever? No, they never did. And so I can't imagine you could go to heaven, there would be this place where it could make you happy forever. Unless it's just like this weird kind of spiritual Xanax that happens or something.
Right. I always kind of... Yeah. Wait, no, sorry.
It's not in the boundary... It's not in the boundary of my reality to imagine it.
Yeah.
But in the boundary of this reality, I can't imagine that kind of reality taking place.
Right.
And so then it went further, and in Buddhism they wouldn't say that, like there's no heaven or hell. There's not even a hell, because
doesn't it
do something in it. Of all the things that have ever made you feel terrible, did they make you feel terrible forever? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know.
The big lesson. Another, like we said before, one lesson of meditation, just to be able to settle the fuck down and let yourself process. The other lesson is that nothing lasts. Is if this is what's going on through your head right now, it's not going to be. Because if you're aware and you stay with the awareness long enough, you'll notice that, and you'll realize, oh shit, like that. I went through that. That's done now.
It's done now. It's done. And there's nothing. It's not. Yeah. But I mean, you could damage. The physical organism of a person can be damaged, which I think is called PTSD.
Yeah.
And you could damage the organism through a high intensity stress situation. There are people I know who were molested when they were little, and they can't. There are certain things that trigger them that I don't think would ever go away. Like I don't think they could meditate or take Seroquel for years, and I don't think it's going to stop.
Yeah, meditation is kind of it's not a cure-all for anybody. Some things are
No, I don't.
If you lose your leg,
No.
you're not going to be able to work out and grow a new leg.
But you could. I think this is possible. You could recognize, because I know people who I would say they have PTSD, and when they're dating someone, and something happens, they would react horribly, like violent or just smash things. But as they got older, they recognized, oh, this is what I do. This is how I feel in this situation. I could do something else that would be more, what is the word, beneficial, or appropriate, or not so destructive. But I don't think the feeling, the response will go away. I don't think the response, the physical and mental response, could go away. But to go back to your word, recognize it, do something with it. Does that make sense? Yeah.
Yeah.
What were you going to say? I think you were going to say something.
I don't know. I forgot. Well, I guess I want to say something about Buddhism because it seems to me, especially like you look at the Tibetan Book of the Dead, and like how the fuck did they go through this? Like how did this come out? Like this, it's like scientific religion, right? In a way. And this one, they're like going through death and everything, and like how when you die, you have to like ask for help from these gods. But I mean, reading this kind of makes it sort of hard because like we didn't grow up with these names of gods, so we don't really have the same association as the people who like came from there. I don't know what I'm talking about. I lost track. So okay.
Well, think about it like this. So.
But I liked how in the book you were talking about the blue light. You die and the blue light comes. I like that stuff.
Yeah. Where did I get that? Like.
Well, that's in the book.
He says blue light, doesn't he? Did they say that?
Yeah, it's blue. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's a radiant blue. You get like lost in it.
In the book. I read it like 5 years ago. Is that what he says? 4 years ago, yeah.
Yeah, it's like, well, when you like, I think, from my understanding, like you die. Yeah, you float up, and you're in a light that's so bright and radiant that you want to turn away from it. Like you can't take it. And then that leads your way back into reincarnating again. Like they kind of expect you to fail every level. Like there's however many levels of death, and they were kind of like, yeah, you're gonna fail this one too. Like you asked for help, but then you failed, and then you have to like, I don't know. Should I bring them up and read them or something?
No, it's okay. No, I understand the failure. I mean, it'd be really, it's really hard because we're so attached to everything around us. We're so attached to everything. And, I mean, you might not think of it, but like, what if you died and you made it to the 3rd level and you're like, oh my God, I really want a cigarette. You made it to the 4th level and you're like, man, I would really like some tacos right now.
Yeah. I don't want to give up pussy.
I know.
You know what I mean?
I don't know if people would even, I think they would focus on tacos.
They would focus on tacos before that?
Is that a pun? I don't know.
Maybe unintentional one.
Unintentional pun I made about tacos. And, I don't know. I don't think I would. I don't think that would be, my thing would probably be like, oh, I want to drink a really good porter again. I want to smoke cigarettes. I want to see the next episode of something. I don't know. I don't even know. It's Always Sunny. I want to see the next episode. I don't want to leave the earth.
Right.
I mean, if you really think about it, man, you don't want to leave the earth.
Yeah. When we want all these problems. Yeah, we're like super into these problems, right?
Yeah.
Like we're
okay.
in. Yeah, we're in love with our drama.
Yeah, we're super okay with it. And I mean, like, I don't even know what I would have to do to end all the attachments or something. Like, how would you go about doing that? I mean, like, even if you're a Buddhist, you're probably still attached to being vegetarian. You're still attached to not having. If you're a monk and you're attached to your monastery, you're attached to your master. Things.
Yeah, they say they get reincarnated to like all those monks are probably people who lived really good lives to be able to like reincarnate as monks.
Wait, good lives?
Like the people, like all those little kids, all those little
Wait.
Tibetan monk kids must have lived like good past lives.
I don't really know what. I don't know. I don't really understand that, honestly. I'm too American to understand what that means. Like, I don't know if they lived good lives or not.
Yeah.
I have a hard
I
time
know that it's it.
comprehending
Yeah,
anyone.
that doesn't make any sense.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if they did. Like, I don't know. I mean, it's just like if you go there, right? It's really like cultural. It's a cultural thing. It's very people. When I was in South Korea, I was talking about Buddhism, and one of the students was Buddhist.
Uh-huh.
Her family was naturally thousands of years.
Yeah.
And she was like, "This is what we do." And I'm standing there, and I said to her, "I don't know what you do. I mean, I watch documentaries and stuff. I was like, I don't know. I'm just reading the book. I'm just reading the book. That's all that's happening for me. So, and I don't have anything. You can dress what you want to dress in. You can put up any statue you want. You can do anything you want. It's not a concern. It's not a concern. I don't feel really. What is the word? Not devoted. Not concerned. Just like I don't feel like this is part of my life. Things you can do if you don't want to appropriate someone's culture is you just don't feel like you're part of their life.
Right, you're alien.
Like, you don't do anything. What?
You're alien from it. It's an alien.
It's an alien thing, and you're open about it. You're like, dude, that is fine. Whatever you're doing is fine. And I just have a couple of your books. I bought them from the store. I'm reading them, and I really like them. You know what I mean? Like, I listen to Thelonious Monk at work.
Yeah.
When I'm working, the words mess with me, and I can't focus. So I put on this kind of background jazz. But it doesn't have anything to do with anything. It's just like, I'm not going to wake up tomorrow and dress like Thelonious Monk and start
that'd be good.
Talking like that.
Yeah. I'm
just going to let it happen. Like, I'm just like, I authentically enjoy this music while I'm at work. And like, I authentically like Johnny Cash. Like, when I hear the sound of Johnny Cash, I feel like, oh, this is cool. But I'm not going to go to fucking Tennessee and buy a cowboy hat.
Yeah.
And like live in a holler in Kentucky or something. Like, I'm not going to do that. Like, I am too cool for that. You know what I mean? I'm too cool for all these things.
I got one question. I don't know if you have an answer, but why do you think all the Buddhism books are orange, or like this particular orange color?
I have no idea. I never thought about it.
Really? You never thought about it?
Well, we probably never even know. Is it because of the orange robes, maybe in Tibet?
Yeah, it seems like that, but then, like, why are their robes orange?
I have no idea. I have nothing. I bet I can't even fathom it. It would only be conjecture if I made it.
It's easy, like, yeah, all I can tell from it, like, or infer from the decision, the collective decision to use orange all the time, is that it's, like, easy on the eyes.
Oranges? It hurts my eyes.
Does it? I feel like yellow is more, like, hurting, but, like, orange is sort of, like, smooth. Or maybe it's because orange is, like, it's the counter color to blue, and blue is, like, the Blue light? No? Oh, shit.
What?
Hey.
It froze.
Yeah, I think that was my connection. I thought I was... Oh, wait, is it still going? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. It'll be over soon, I think.
Okay.
Oh my god, it's so annoying.
Okay, it's over. It's like hiccups.
Let's do like 10 or 15 more minutes. Is that okay?
Yeah, that sounds great, man. I appreciate it.
We'll just ask like couple more things in like 8:30.
Okay.
I really have to.
Yeah, I mean, I thought...
Fucking life, dude. I get up. Go ahead.
I thought you hung up on me because I was asking like a really kind of stupid question about the colored thing. I was getting into it. Was like, oh, okay, we're done with this guy. I'm not talking about colors. Okay, no, but that's not the case. That's...
Okay. No, it just froze.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like 10 more minutes and yeah.
Okay.
I just been up since I wake up at like 6:50 and I'm just like at work and I get an hour break. We ate sushi today for lunch that was really good, and then I had to go to Smith's. I had to go to a grocery store.
They call it Smith's in Vegas?
Yeah, we have Albertsons too.
They have like Vaughn's and Ralph's?
No Vaughn's. No Vaughn's or Ralph's.
Oh, okay. It's different.
All the Vaughn's disappeared 4 years ago.
Yeah, that happened here. It wasn't Vaughn's, but all the Albertsons turned into Hagen, and then they turned into Gelson's. Like almost all the Albertsons like changed, like went out of business and became Gelson's, and then became Hagen and then became Gelson's.
We have Albertsons and we have Smith's and we have Sprouts and Whole Foods.
Okay. Trying to think. Well, I'm interested to hear because you probably know more about Bodhidharma than I do, and I like everything I've like heard about him. Is cool. Like he decided to just sit and stare at a wall until like life came to him. Like that's how he... Am I right in that, or does that... You probably know more than me.
He sat in a cave for 9 years. He came to... Supposedly he arrived from India, and he was like, he had a big beard, and he had like long black hair. And one time he was like supposedly meditating for so long, but he started falling asleep, so he cut his eyelids off.
Whoa.
And that's why when you see pictures of him, he always has giant eyes.
He's super...
He's supposed to have no eyelids.
Oh, shit. And he's got big old eyebrows.
Then, and then, so, he's sitting in the cave for 9 years, and this guy comes named Dazu Uke or something. And he's the second patriarch. The first patriarch is Bodhidharma of Zen, and then Dazu comes. And Dazu comes outside the cave, and he's like, this story has like a bunch of different ways they tell it, and he's like supposedly standing out in the snow, and Bodhidharma comes out and he's like, why the fuck are you here, you know? Why did you come here? And he's like, I want to clear my mind or something. And Bodhidharma's like, leave, you should leave. And he goes back in the cave and meditates for like another 6 months. But Dazu won't leave the outside of the cave. He's meditating too. And he goes outside and he's like, hey, why are you still here? I told you to leave. And Dazu's like, I'm not leaving. And then he goes back in. And then like some more time passes. And Bodhidharma's like, why? The third time, Dazu finally cuts his arm off. He cuts it off. And there's a movie of Bodhidharma you can watch on YouTube from 1970s China.
Oh, cool.
And his arm starts squirting blood everywhere in the snow. And it's like one of those old It's like Kill Bill.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
So it's blood, and it's squirting everywhere. And Bodhidharma comes out and is like, something like, "What do you want? Why are you here? What's the goal?" Azu's like, I want to clear my mind. And he goes, "Well, where is your mind?" And then supposedly after he said, "Where is your mind?" Kazuhuki gains some light in it.
Right.
And so then Dazuhuki is really cool because he's like, he goes on and he's the second patriarch. And then the Chinese government is going to kill him because he's a freak.
Yeah.
And they eventually find him.
Because he doesn't have an arm?
Before they kill him, he has no arm.
He's a freak with no arm.
He's a freak because he's not afraid of death or something.
Okay.
And they're going to come and kill him. And he says to the person, he goes, "You can kill me now. But I want you to know this is the only time in your whole life you'll ever meet anyone who's not afraid of death." And he just like lets him cut his head off. Yeah,
it's super cool, man.
But
that's badass.
Bodhidharma.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. And then Bodhidharma came and he supposedly gave Zen to the Chinese. And they have all these kind of intellectual disputes because a lot of people for a long time thought that Taoism and Buddhism combined together to make Zen. But have really good translations. We didn't have a good translation of Bodhidharma until like 20 years ago. And we didn't have a good translation of, many of the Zen masters 20, 30 years ago. So when the beatniks were reading Zen, the only thing they were reading was D.T. Suzuki and Shunryu Suzuki's books. They were not reading. Gary Snyder was not reading the originals. And the original book of Zen is called the Lankavatara Sutra, which it got translated in a short, abridged edition by D.T. Suzuki in the 1920s or 30s. And then there was no real good edition until 3 years ago.
Wow.
So the original book, the Gospels,
the
Quran of Zen, didn't have it. And I have read almost every book by the beatniks. And I have never read where they mentioned the Lankavatara Sutra. Basically, the only thing the beatniks had was these kinds of random cut-ups. You know what I mean? These kind of cuts, short.
They didn't have the whole
books.
Yeah.
They had nowhere near. They were operating under like 10%. So, and I've had this conversation with people that are intensely, have been studying Buddhism for years, and we'll go back, and I'm in 37, and they're 40 or 50, and we're like, what were they? That wasn't. When you go back and think about what the beatniks wrote, you were like, that wasn't it.
Huh.
Whatever they were thinking they were doing was like mishmash.
Yeah.
Strange thing. It would be like if you took, you know what I mean, like a half a book of Aristotle and had it translated by one of their Buddhist monks who because the Catholic monks would be the kind of translators. So you took like one section of random sections of Aristotle, random sections of Plato, random sections of maybe, Heidegger or Nietzsche, and you didn't have the whole book. And then you kind of had them badly translated and sent to Tokyo. You know what I mean? And then because Shunryu Suzuki was not a famous monk. He wasn't anything in Japan. He just shows up because he knows English. You know what I mean? And he just shows up in San Francisco and pretends.
Yeah.
Him and that guy from Naropa, Chim Rinpoche or something, who started Naropa, and the Tibetan guy.
Okay.
They were not.
They were just able to fool all the white people.
They fooled tons of white people. So now that we have all these translations, because of Bill Porter and Thomas Cleary and these couple other people. Looking back, it's very strange. It's a very strange thing that happened. But Bodhidharma because the Lankavatara Sutra and Bodhidharma are the original two books. And then you have Dogen, who's in Japan, which is not an original book, but it's very influential and insane. And but the original two books would be basically like you read the way that people before about 30 years ago were reading was like they were reading after the Gospels. They were reading Paul's epistles, and they had never seen the Gospels, and they just like kind of made Jesus from the Gospel, made Jesus from Philippians or something.
That is kind of what happened, though. Because then they found the Dead Sea Scrolls. They found the Dead Sea Scrolls like so much later, and that was like the Thomas Gospel was in there, and that one has like Jesus saying stuff like the heaven on earth is here now, and the men who it will not come by expectation. It is here, and men do not see it. That was in the Thomas Gospel, and that's like a Buddhist type of saying, but it wasn't like left in the canon of Jesus.
No, was it? No. Yeah, it's just weird how we view it, but I really liked Bodhidharma's book, and the Lankavatara Sutra is very different than what comes after, because it was about this, how you project yourself onto reality and how you discriminate between good and bad all the time. And in Bodhidharma, and there is no now in Bodhidharma. There's no now in Zen. So you know how like everyone's like, oh, you have to focus on the now?
Yeah.
And you have to be in the now?
Yeah.
That is not Zen. That's not. In theirs, Lankavatara Sutra, it is the way. You are in the way all the time, not in the way. I mean, the way is capitalized, what I'm saying.
I understand what you're saying, but yeah.
So, you're not supposed... You don't have to concern yourself with the now. Or the future or the past. You're just in... You're living the way all the time. Which is the same thing Aristotle said in the Nicomachean Ethics. He said, if you're living the good life all the time, you can think about your life at any moment. You can and have nostalgia and be like, oh, I was living the good life when I was 21. I was living the good life when I was 33.
Yeah.
To peacefully sit in a chair when you're 72 years old. Oh, it was fine. The whole thing was fine. It was delightful. And because you were living the way the whole time. So when they say like be here now or whatever the fuck they say.
Yeah.
It's not. I don't know where that comes from. I don't know where they got it. I don't know. It's like.
Oh shit! That's oh wow. Yeah, because that was Ram Dass. And yeah, I guess he's like part of the Beatniks. And
is a shyster, if there ever was one, man.
Ram Dass?
He made money, man. He made money.
He's
being the greatest shyster.
It's true. It's true. He lives in Hawaii and shit. He lives a good life, but he does devote himself like a bodhisattva. Kind of like I don't think he really works for. I think all the money kind of goes to organizations. But then we could argue about all that kind of bullshit, how that works.
Well, I mean, I don't really care that he's a shyster. I was kind of saying it.
Yeah, what I'm more interested in is like how the Beatniks got it wrong, and you think like that new age perspective of like what now is wrong, according to.
I have never met anyone who talks about the now who I think lives there. It's just a fuck.
Yeah.
Trying to sell you some stuff.
Yeah.
I just feel like, oh, you're trying to sell me something right now.
Yeah.
Or it's like an identity.
Mm-hmm.
It's like we have this thing where like our identity. It's kind of like when I'm on Facebook and I see someone talking politics, and I think, are you saying that because you believe it, or are you saying that because you know you want other people to see you say it?
Yeah.
You need other people to know you believe these things, and know you do these things.
Right.
And I you could. Yeah, it's hard for me because it's like everyone's such a marketing niche nowadays.
Yeah.
I want to say something political, but can I say it without making people think I'm a good person or something? Like, make people think, oh, his identity is really good, his brand is really good.
Yeah.
I don't want to. I don't want to say something for the sake of everyone thinking I'm a good person.
Right.
I didn't say anything in the last hour because
that wasn't in your head at all. I don't think. Yeah.
Oh, I don't have any intention.
But yeah, I don't know. I mean, people who are doing that, it kind of proves that they don't really believe anything. Like, they don't believe that thing that they're even saying that they believe. It's because their whole value system is based. Do you know what I'm kind of getting? Like, their value system is based on like what other people think of them, and it's not really coming from an honest, sincere place. It's coming from a different.
No, they're just like Ayn Rand or something, you know. It's like,
right. You mentioned
they're trying to sell them. They're just selling themselves. They put themselves on the market, and they know that you can get things. You can get tenure at a college, you know, if you say the right things. You can get a certain job if you say the right things. You can get people to have sex with you if you say the right things. And they try to find out what the right things are, and then they just say them.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter if they're all right or whatever. The average person will say the right thing. They'll try to figure out they'll try to find the right thing through facial expressions and hand gestures, and then they'll just say that.
Yeah.
These things. This is what's true. And what did Simone de Beauvoir said in one of her biographies? She said that men. This isn't like 1950 or 60. She was like, men, you should get the husband to wash the dishes and to cook and to do these certain feminine things. And the women should try to do some things like go to school and da-da-da-da, even if they don't want to do it, because the children will just believe it's right. So a lot of times when you're dealing with normal, average people, it's important to act normal, you know, if you're a leader, or to do these certain things. Because it's like, then, I mean, if we raise a whole generation of men who do not commit sexual misconduct between 2022 and 2070, we reduce the amount of sexual misconduct percent, or 1% or something.
Yeah.
We will, in fact, teach the whole next generation to not commit sexual misconduct naturally. Because a lot of us, my dad and my friends, I mean, God, if I just did whatever they thought was normal,
right,
I would be committing sexual misconduct all the time. But in my head, because they did it, to call the waitress, they would be 50 years old and the waitress is 22, and they feel like the need to say something sexual to her.
Uh-huh.
I saw it every fucking day. You know what I mean? We've all seen it, I'm sure you've seen it. But if I go the rest of my life, and my friend Matt goes the rest of his life, and my friend Ben goes the rest of his life in front of children and in front of other people, not committing any sexual misconduct between the year of 2017 to 2060, we could reduce the amount of sexual misconduct, even if we all wanted to do it all the time.
Because the next generation would learn.
They will learn. So maybe there's something selfish about, you know what? I'm not going to commit sexual misconduct because I want to date girls that wear black glasses and cool hipster boots. Or something, you know what I mean? Like, this is something silly.
Yeah.
I won't do this anymore because of this. Because I want to have a job and keep it, and I want my wife would beat me if I did this, or just 1,000. Or I don't want to be called out on Facebook. I don't want to be called out in the music community. I don't want to be called out in any community where people say I commit sexual misconduct. So I won't do it, or I won't do it at all. And as the years pass, you reduce sexual misconduct in the world. Even if a lot of people aren't committing it because of selfish reasons, the next generation will see that and not commit sexual misconduct subconsciously and naturally.
You think it would work out that way? Or it might reverse itself?
It works. No, it's just the first generation. My God, man, I knew this guy who was older, and he was from Kentucky, and he said, "Man, the first put a toilet in my." He was like, "I couldn't believe someone wanted me to shit in a house." Or you've heard me, like I came to America and I started shitting in the house, and I was amazed that people shit in the house.
What?
Or amazed that people took it's like when you just get introduced to something new and then you start agreeing that this is true.
Okay.
If you think about it, it's odd that you shit in your own house. I shit within 12 feet of my bed.
Why is that weird?
When I lived in because you're shitting. It's shit. Poop.
But
Why would you want poop so close to where...
It gets removed from your premises, it gets removed from your world completely, so easily. You just press a button and it goes away.
But imagine if for the first 30 years of your life you walk 30 feet away from your house to poop.
Yeah.
And when I was in Korea, I pooped within about 5 feet of my kitchen sink. It was like that.
In a hole in the floor type toilet?
No, it was actually it's more complex. The bathroom was so small in my apartment in South Korea that the sink would roll over the toilet when I took a shower.
Oh shit!
And then when I was done taking a shower, I would roll the toilet. It was on wheels.
Oh my God!
I would roll the sink back into the shower area.
Okay, wow.
Yeah, that's how small the toilet.
That's how they do it there.
The bathroom was. Yeah, but my main point is that there are a lot of things in life that from cell phones to computers, that when you initially come in contact with it, you're really like, man, this shouldn't be happening. What's happening here? This is weird. And then eventually, people all agree one day that this is absolutely normal. Normalize, that word, normalize. And, and it becomes normalized.
Right, yeah. And then that would happen in the misconduct scenario. It's just it would normalize into a situation where that just doesn't happen anymore.
Where it doesn't happen. It barely ever happens. And I think that's the goal, is to shock everyone, to shock and awe everyone.
Yeah.
Into a state of where, just fucking stop it. Because every 5-year-old boy needs to fucking... We don't want to raise another version of you. We don't need another version. Your version sucks. Your version, we need a version 2.0.
And I don't know, do you think... No, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Okay, well,
mine. Go ahead, say something. We have to end it soon.
That's true, we should end it soon. Well, I've felt with the kind of recent, all the allegations that come out every week, and the ones that bother me the most are Louis C.K. or Al Franken, because they seem like guys on the good side and who have a voice that sort of is needed and useful, especially it seemed, I don't know, it seems a little bit conspiracy-ish that some of the people getting called out are people who will probably say the right things on a public forum, but now they're having their legs cut out underneath them. I don't know.
I can beat this down with one. I can beat this completely. I'll destroy this.
Okay.
I'm going to destroy it. All right. So the only thing you have to do, and anyone who's listening, is think of the strangest. Think of something you do when you're having sex that is strange. Not strange, but everyone does something odd during sex. Everyone has an oddity. Every woman I've met has at least one odd thing they like. And nobody else knows what that is. You don't know what my oddities are. You don't know what my ex's oddities are. They're real. I can document them. So in sex, we all have these odd things we like to do.
Yeah.
And so, and we predominantly keep them a secret.
Yeah.
And they have nothing to do with your job. And I mean, let's just say that I really like someone likes, one of us likes farting during sex or something.
Whatever kind of quirk.
Massive amount.
Yeah.
You eat massive amounts of Taco Bell bean burritos because you like to feel bloated and fart during sex. Now, I don't do that. Maybe you don't do that. But let's just say that we do.
It's a weird thing that you hide.
It's a weird thing. It's a weird thing. And it has nothing to do with me for 20 years, and you would never know that I did that. Yeah. You would never know. You do not know what I do in the bedroom. I don't know what you do. So maybe it is completely possible that in those men's heads, this is like, this is one of their odd things. And it just got told to the world. It got told to the world. And yeah, it's hard. I mean, it's hard to believe that someone would just masturbate in front of people. I mean, it's like, why would you do that? It sounds so odd. It's like such an odd thing to do.
It's not that odd. Like, if you went to a hotel room, it is kind of weird, but it's not like, it doesn't seem that weird.
Yeah, I don't know. But I think that if any person could everybody has odd things.
Yeah.
That was maybe the odd things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now they're being shared with everybody.
They're being shared.
Yeah.
Which is, you should behave.
Yeah, is the message to the future is like everything you do matters now. Like everything is being recorded. Like
everything's being recorded. Everything can be exposed, even like the other day. I have to end it after this.
Yeah. Yes, I'm sorry.
But like the other day, like no, I don't really know. Nothing happened. I mean, like it can be recorded. It can be people can say things that aren't true. You really but if you think about it, like we're on the internet a lot, I'm like really exposing myself. And a person who wants to be famous is exposing themselves. And they need to think about what they're saying and doing. And you can't help it now because you're doing it in front of people. But my coworkers, they don't get exposed anymore. They have a Facebook with like 20 pictures on it, like 7 of them are their kids. They're living completely quiet lives. You can choose to live a really quiet life, and you can do that. And I guess, but yeah, I don't really know. I don't think I have much. My brain's tired.
Your brain's tired. I feel you, dude. All right, well, I guess we'll just let everybody know that you can buy Blood-Soaked Buddha Hard Earth Pascal on Amazon. Should we tell them that? Or is there another place to buy it
from? Amazon. No, Amazon's the best.
Amazon's the best. So go get Noah Cicero's new book. And then you got nature documentary coming out later this year.
Yeah. In like a couple of weeks or something. You can pre-order it off the website. Or just go to my Twitter. I'm sure there's a link there for it.
All right, Twitter at Noah Cicero. All right, cool.
All right, thank you for talking, Ramsey.
Thank you for doing this with me, man. I appreciate it. I hope you have a good rest of your night.
You're like a real Paul Rogan. What's his name?
Joe Rogan?
Crystalline.
All right, that's episode 1 of Dyads. Hope you enjoyed. Go to Amazon and cops Noah Cicero's new book and his old books too. Why the fuck not, right? And music that you're listening to is made by Omar Suleiman, Syrian brother from another mother, and he's remixing a song by Bjork, if you couldn't tell. Thank you for joining me. We'll see you next week on Dyads. I'm Ramsey Shalaby. Have a good night.